I am thinking about launching a wine website where there is a deal and the crowd can dictate how cheap it can get. One of my biggest flaws is I don't take advice. As much as I love crisp, clean whites, there's always a time for rich but balanced Chardonnays with oak, especially at Thanksgiving. I don't want anybody to not recognize how appreciative I am of the volume of emails I get. I would argue heavily that the time that has been allocated to social used to come from television, and people are benefiting from it. People who are saying, you're spending all your time on Facebook, or all your time on Twitter, I'd like to understand what the person used to do with that time. IQ is a commodity, data is a commodity. I'm far more interested in watching people interact at a restaurant with their smartphone. We can all read TechCrunch, Ad Age. I would rather be living in the trenches. I would rather be going to Whole Foods in Columbus Circle to watch people shop with their smartphones. 85% of the crowd is going to fall in love with me, they're going to feel it, wow. But 15% are going to think, this guy is obnoxious. I spend enormous time with them, every negative review of Crush It! On Amazon has a response from me, and I can probably bring back 10 of the 15. The chef that grew up with the grandma who cooks tends to always beat the chef that went to the Culinary Institute. It's in the blood. We're living in what I like to call the thank you economy, because only the companies that can figure out how to mind their manners in a very old-fashioned way, and do it authentically, are going to have a prayer of competing. I'm a big fan of Mashable and TechCrunch and other outlets like that, but TechMeme obviously does an amazing job of aggregating. Too many companies think they want to do a video blog to sell merchandise, but if you turn your site into QVC, you lose. I have an audience that trusts me. It's about building a global brand, not selling 4 more bottles of Pinot Grigio. Brands mature over time, like a marriage. The bond you feel with your spouse is different than when you first met each other. Excitement and discovery are replaced by comfort and depth. I'm concerned a little bit with the culture of celebrating the fundraise. My dad taught me that when you borrow money it's the worst day of your life. Many people who I respected were disappointed when I started Wine Library TV. They thought I was dumbing down wine, but I always knew I was one of the biggest producers of new wine drinkers in the world, and people are realizing it now. Wine Library TV was about building personal brand equity. It was a business move. Now, it was totally surrounded by a passion for wine, but I very much gave a lot of thought to doing a sports video blog instead. I really chessplay culture shifts. I'm really good at understanding what worldwide cell phone use means. That's what I do. I try to picture it 3 to 4 to 5 steps ahead. Even though I'm a hype man myself, I like the practicality of it all. People who understand how to turn a profit. At the end of the day, this is still business, so I'm looking for real practical knowledge of how to actually make money, not necessarily raise it. I influence anybody who is able to get through the chaos of my first impression. Do you know how many companies have wanted me to do an energy drink for them because I named my book Crush It? It might be fun one day, but right now I think it would undermine the personal brand I've built. I think the acquisition of consumers might be on the verge of being mapped. The battlefield is going to be retention and lifetime value. Nobody walks this earth thinking he's better than I think I am, I think I'm great. At the same time, it's so obvious to me that I'm nobody. I have internet fame. Real fame is more intense. The Loire Valley is grossly underestimated. The prices are fair, and the wines are real. Social media requires that business leaders start thinking like small-town shop owners. This means taking the long view and avoiding short-term benchmarks to gauge progress. It means allowing the personality, heart and soul of the people who run all levels of the business to show. 99. 5% of the people that walk around and say they are a social media expert or guru are clowns. We are going to live through a devastating social media bubble. You have to understand your own personal DNA. Don't do things because I do them or Steve Jobs or Mark Cuban tried it. You need to know your personal brand and stay true to it. People don't want to embrace culture shifts because it's not going to happen in the next 20 minutes. I attract a crowd, not because I'm an extrovert or I'm over the top or I'm oozing with charisma. It's because I care. Vince McMahon is one of the greatest storytellers of all time, but WWE's not striving for the kind of innovation it's capable of. I want to own the New York Jets, that's what I want. And I absolutely believe I am going to own the Jets. You cannot underestimate people's ability to spot a soulless, bureaucratic tactic a million miles away. It's a big reason why so many companies that have dipped a toe in social media waters have failed miserably. I think what's happening for me, it's fun to see other things besides Facebook and Twitter take hold. The maturity of Tumblr as a real player is exciting. I think Pinterest has proved to be a major player. It's fun to see Instagram become a major player. It's fun to watch things like Snapchat and Vine try to vie to be the next thing. I went online with Wine Library. Com in July of 1997, that was my first professional online play. I don't know how you can justify leaving any engagement behind in the social web of 2011. The thing that I'm most passionate about, I'm writing a book called Jab 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 Right Hook, and it really focuses on how to storytell in a noisy, ADD world. I know if I stopped hosting Wine Library TV, we'd probably lose 75% of our audience, but the remaining 25% is still a big number. From age 16, I lived and breathed wine. I read every magazine and book about wine. I hate recording all the shows for the week in one day, because I want to be able to mention current events and pop culture. If Madonna punches Britney in the face today, I want to reference that on Wine Library TV tomorrow. Monday's episode is always the best, because it's hot off the press. People are more comfortable learning about wine because now they can just Google, Soave, and say, oh, okay, cool. My dad is like a cactus, introverted and tough. I'm a people person, like my mom, but I got my competitiveness from my dad. He came to this country from Belarus with nothing and built a real business. He's my hero for giving me that need to run a business and for having enormous confidence in me. My natural inclination to be improv rather than an educated character serves me well. When the tech geeks talk, I pay close attention. It's about stories. If I can tell the story to America, whether it's Riesling or a boxer from Harlem, it will sell. I know on my gravestone it's going to be, storyteller. People are chasing cash, not happiness. When you chase money, you're going to lose. You're just going to. Even if you get the money, you're not going to be happy. You have to respect your parents. They are giving you an at-bat. If you're an entrepreneur and go into the family business, you want to grow fast. Patience is important. But respect the other party. My dad and I pulled it off because we really respect each other. People who build family businesses are not classically trained. They have to deal with an enormous amount of politics. You think corporate politics are tough? Go work for your dad or your mom. The reason I was able to grow my business was that every day, after producing 30 minutes of wine television, I spent 15 hours a day replying to every single person's email and every single person's Twitter at reply. I definitely think there's some way to understand how people emotionally feel about somebody, but I don't think data collects it. They're not going to click your bit.ly link or click your tweet meme retweet every time.